So for the Chicago Bears to actually have the nerve to not play Caleb Williams during week 1 of the NFL preseason is just absolutely highway robbery if you're a Chicago Bears fan. No wonder they're having such a hard time getting a new stadium built. The organization traditionally over the years, let's face it, has been a mess. And you know, when you look at what Caleb Williams did last year, it wasn't that bad. But he is not Josh Allen. He is not Aaron Rodgers on the fringe of retirement. He's not Tom Brady coming out of retirement. He absolutely needed to play. Hey, I've got some Ben Johnson excuses for you. I'm going to play those next.
Plays on air there, and we try to make it as similar to what we would do in practice as possible. We're calling a play, or I'm giving him the play. He's calling in the huddle. We're coming up. We got motions. We got it's first down, second down, third down. We're changing everything up, and so you talk about timing and rhythm, anticipation, being on the same page in the passing game. That's where there is no substitute for real live bullets. I get that, but at the same time, when you can accumulate 70 plus reps in a day, that's pretty good. That goes a long way in terms of where you want to go with the connection with the quarterback and his pass catchers. So I wish I could do that every day with him or every other day with him, to be quite frank with you. So it was a good time to do it. We'll see what next week has in mind in terms of how much we want to play guys and all that. But, we'll assess that with the staff going forward.
So welcome back to the Nats NFL Rundown. As always, I'm Dave DeBaugh, coming to you from the Silicon Valley. Now, if I pull up Caleb Williams' stats from last season, they're not horrible. He had a 62.5 completion percentage. He had an overall quarterback rating of 87.8. He had 20 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. And yes, we all know that he holds onto the ball too long, and we all know he tries to play as much hero ball as he possibly can. But for Ben Johnson to actually work with Caleb Williams all offseason in the way they have, for them to get to the first preseason game of the year when everybody else had a chance to play in the National Football League. I mentioned there were a couple players that didn't play from a quarterback position, and you totally understand, like a Josh Allen not playing. We saw Patrick Mahomes actually play, but we understand that Josh Allen didn't need to play in that game. We understand that Aaron Rodgers didn't need to play in that game. But at the end of the day, it just made no sense for Caleb Williams to not play. He's in a new offense. He's got some new offensive weapons. He has a brand new head coach and one Ben Johnson who is basically going to be calling all the plays anyways. It just makes no sense. We saw the footage come out of Chicago Bears training camp recently, and there certainly were more questions than answers that we saw with a lot of that footage. I mean, how could you forget the net in which Caleb Williams missed the squares 3 passes in a row? Clearly, from both a public relations standpoint as well as just a player standpoint, it certainly made sense for Caleb Williams to at least play one series of week 1 of the NFL preseason. Now, whether or not you think that the NFL preseason should even exist is a completely different story. We don't see NFL preseason in college football, and yet when those college football teams are going to actually go ahead and play in a couple weeks, those teams will all be ready. And remember, those are 18 and 19 and 20-year-old kids. So the NFL is clearly just trying to make some more money with the NFL preseason, as we all know. But still, this is an opportunity. It goes against everything that Ben Johnson actually said in that clip that I played for you a little bit earlier. Ben Johnson knows that live fire is the best way to actually determine really where your quarterback is at this moment. Now, of course, we could have had a disastrous week 1. And we might have ended up having to do a video about maybe they shouldn't have played Caleb Williams in preseason week 1. But even if it was a disaster, I would have said it at least would have been a good disaster, because you as a Chicago Bears fan and you as a NFL fan would know truly where the Chicago Bears are at this point. I think we all suspect that the first half of the season is actually going to be a challenging one. I think we all expect it is going to be a lot of downs, very few ups for the Chicago Bears during the first 8 weeks of the season. And then I think a lot of us expect things to get better as the season progresses, and Caleb to actually understand the highly complicated offense that Ben Johnson is going to attempt to run with Caleb Williams. We also understand one of the major issues that Caleb Williams is going to have in a Ben Johnson style offense is his ability to actually get rid of the football quickly. That is where all great quarterbacks tend to separate themselves from average or just good quarterbacks. They are able to read defenses and are able to make decisions quickly. Look, we saw Shedeur Sanders actually look pretty good in his preseason debut. I thought he did a great job, but he wasn't really going up against, first level defenses for most of the game in which he played. He ended up getting rid of the ball in 3.4 seconds, and in the real NFL, you've got to be able to get rid of the ball in about 2.5 seconds. So Caleb Williams needs as much practice as he can possibly get against live fire, considering that he's in a brand new offense with a brand new head coach. This decision to not play him made absolutely no sense. Now, this upcoming week, we should have the opportunity to see Caleb Williams actually play on national television on Sunday night when the Chicago Bears actually do battle against the Buffalo Bills in Chicago on Sunday night. I think it's a Fox broadcast game. So I would highly anticipate we would see Caleb Williams for a quarter or two during that particular football game. I understand not wanting to play your starters in week 3 of the NFL preseason, but I do not understand not wanting to at least bring them out for part of the first preseason game and then make them play, if you will, for a full half in the second preseason game. Hell, if we're going to have the NFL preseason, you might as well take advantage of it, Chicago, especially considering you have a brand new head coach installing a brand new offense with a quarterback that, quite frankly, looked a little shell-shocked last season and still put up relatively good numbers when you consider everything that was being thrown at him. Look, I'm not giving up on Caleb Williams as a potential great quarterback in the National Football League, though I do wonder how Ben Johnson is actually really handling him. I wonder if Ben Johnson is the right kind of coach for Caleb Williams. Can Caleb Williams actually sustain the tough love that Ben Johnson is throwing at him? My biggest concern with Ben Johnson as a head coach when it came to Caleb Williams was, would he go too far and ultimately shatter any confidence that Caleb Williams had left from last season? And would Caleb Williams ever be able to recover from that? We know being a quarterback in the National Football League is a very thin line between a great quarterback, a good quarterback, and a bad quarterback. And the thing that tends to separate those all is confidence. And if you take the man's confidence away, there is a solid chance that he'll at least never recover, at least as a member of the Chicago Bears. Now, to Ben Johnson's credit, he was able to resurrect, of course, Jared Goff's career. But Jared Goff is a different personality than a Caleb Williams. They are different style quarterbacks to begin with, and they have completely different style personalities. And maybe Jared Goff was just in the perfect storm when he got shipped off to Detroit. So we'll just have to wait and see. Love to know your thoughts and opinions. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to the NFL Rundown. As always, I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.